Hey guys, welcome back to the fourth part of this tutorial series. In this episode we're going to be taking the low poly and high poly meshes we've made in the previous episodes, baking them to create the normal maps, and then texturing them inside of Substance Painter. Once all the texture has been done, we're going to be importing our files into a Marmoset toolbag to get a final render of our asset. Okay, so to start we need to import our low poly mesh. To do so we go File, New, we want to select PBR Metal Roughness, and we're going to select our file as the Grenade Low, and Import. Okay, so now we are inside of Substance Painter with our model, and we can paint directly on, either in the 3D view or on the 2D view. Now we do have the high poly mesh, so we're going to want to bake those high details onto this one. So to do that, we go to the right side, texture set settings, and if we scroll down you'll see bake mesh maps. Gonna simply select this. We're gonna increase the output size because this is just gonna be for a final render, so we want it to look good. Then we're gonna click on this little piece of paper, import our high mesh. I'm gonna expand this just a little, as I find you get funky artifacts if you have it down too low, so put it to 0.1. And then we will bake selected textures. Now you can see all of our textures have been baked on. If we look on the right, we'll see we have them all here. It's added the maps in. Now the next thing I'm going to do is separate the mesh into folders. So if we go into layers, so we can separate the metallic objects from the wooden objects. So I'm just going to do that simply by adding a fill. Oh, only one. Set the color to what roughly I want the metal to be. I'm gonna then create a folder for this metal. Drop the fill in, just so then it makes it easier. So I'll create a mask. So we click on this tab here, add black mask, and now you can see everything's blocked out. So we want to add that back in. So what I've done there, I've gone on to select faces, and I've gone on for mesh fill. So this is a separate mesh. As you remember when we modeled it, I did that for a reason, plan ahead. And we can also select all of the screws that we have here. And then we also have the cap at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same again for the wooden sticks. So add a fill, create a folder, call that wood, drop in the fill, put that to brown color, and then we're going to want to add a mask and simply select the stick. And now we've separated our mesh into the two main areas. So the first thing we're going to work on is the wooden handle. We need to find out what wood texture would work best. So if we look at the reference, we have both like a light and a dark. So I'm just going to simply drop in the varying wood materials that we have here and see which one looks nicest. So I'm going to drop that on the wood layer. And we can just quickly go back and forth. That doesn't look quite right. Maybe if we slide this, add a bit of mud on there. I'm not sure about that one. I'm gonna just make that invisible for now. give the mahogany a try. We want that to be in this folder. Now if we scale it down, I like this material looks a lot nicer. So the knots and stuff are roughly a similar size and scale. Drag that back over here. And now I'm gonna see if we can line it ever so slightly to match what we have on our reference image. I don't know if you can tell, this material has a varnish, and it looks like these are kind of waxed. We're gonna slightly add a bit of varnish. More rough. Now I think I'm gonna have to go and brush over these with like a black colour just to make it a bit darker. I'm going to work with a 2K texture just because we can do that. I'm happy with that for a base. So delete the cedar. Maybe we can compare them. Mahogany's are much better, so I'll delete that one. Now we want to work with the metal. So we search for metal materials. Steel painted. We drop that on and move that to the metal folder. Now I'm going to use the eye drop material to get the colour that we want. So, here I can my reference is minimized. Let me get that up on this window. Base color, again, color picker. Select color we want. There we are. Now this is a bit too worn. So now, because it's a pre-made material, we can go play around with the edges and pre-made masks. If you can see this, it adding some scratches on the edge. I'm not sure about this dotted pixelated color. Need to find which material is doing that. That's looking good so far. I think we might add a little bit of rust, so there's a pre-made material here. We drop it on. So on this to be on metal layer. And now I'm gonna add a smart mask. We just want it to be in the crevices. So if we go on surface rust, drop that on. Now I need to work on the edge damages because that's way too worn over here. I'm gonna go back to here. Edge damage. Bit better. Might duplicate into the cap separately. Cool. I'm gonna jump back to the mahogany wood, add a paint layer. I'm just gonna add we want to add some dirt. Add a smart mask. Cool. Below that, we're gonna make this a bit darker, so we're just gonna paint a dark blue. Actually gonna grab a dark area of the wood. And then just simply go over. I'm gonna decrease the flow so it's not so dark. There we go, the details are a lot more clearer now. Now the last but not least, we're gonna stamp in the font that's on here, so that'll be easier if we go to the 2D. That will be easier if we go to the 2D plane. We're gonna add a paint layer. Now in Substance Painter you can use font. So we want squarest font it has, ideally. Should be this. And now we need to find a reference of what it says on the grenade. So there's the following. For Geb Approach. Ren capsule einsetzen. Now if we go over down, see that there's the scatter modifier on, facing, and that off. That's a really big gap. Oh. Yeah, that's not working. Let's do it line by line then. Okay, and then at the bottom it has like a S K dot D O. Kind of a small. Well, now that's on there. Now obviously that has not been one away, so again we're going to add a mask. So if we go to smart masks, I know you can just trial and error and add and remove what you think works best. I'm going to go to surface 1, add that on. Now I want the contrast way up, cobble blur off. I'm actually going to use a brush just to break up the lower wood. Alpha map. We want something that'd be good to break it up. On the edges. Cool. Now we have our stale hand granata. The final thing to do is now to export the textures. I'm gonna see how it looks if we wipe them up to 4K. I don't, on something so small, I don't think it will have much of an impact. We'll see. Cool. I think I'm happy with that. So now we're going to export. So to do so, we go File, Export Textures. I want to save them with meshes. New folder. And export. And that is done. I'm going to save this as I have forgotten to do so, which is no good. Cool. Now that is done, we have a fully textured grenade. Now I will jump into Marmoset and set up a render.